everyone, welcome back. It's Angela here to share with you another little project for a journal that I'm working on. As you know, it's the Baking Bliss one, but of course this would work in any theme, as I always say. Now, very excited because brought in lots of fabric, a little bit of hand stitching, no sewing machines at all, some glue and lots of scrappy bits and pieces. So I'm hoping that you're going to enjoy making this belly band along with me today. Now I have made one here so I could see how it would work out, and it's just lying loose on the top of my page here. But you can see I'm using fabric. I've got a piece of a doily that had a hole in it, which I've cut out a piece of it. Elements from my kit, my Baking Bliss add-on kit, butterflies, old vintage buttons, little scraps of lace and fabric, and some other little elements, flower elements and things. So that's what we're going to do today. So I hope you're going to be excited to follow along with me. I've just put in two pieces here. As I said, this is not stuck down yet. This is just an envelope from my add-on kit, which I've printed the lace paper on the back. I thought it would be great to put an envelope in this belly band, because a lot of the time the recipes that you might have gathered could have been bits that you've cut out from newspapers, magazines, had sent you from your mum or friends, and we need to have somewhere to put those. So I thought this would be a great place to house those. And then another little recipe card where you can write out a recipe that you want to hang on to. All right, so I've got that backed onto the same lace paper here. Right, so those are just the two bits I'm going to put into the side. So I'll just put these to the side over here. Right, so I have got this. I'll just show you. We did our center spread the last time. And we have a blue page here with that lovely cake. And one of these pages. This is the other side of that. This is the other side now of the pages we had already. So just your book page and that beautiful vintage page like that. So it's on the blue background page and one of those lace pages that we put on the other side. It's the one that matches up with that. All right, so we're going to have a little work on that. But let's go and make this first of all, and then get that ready. It's got all the vintage elements that are going to make your book look fabulous, and I just felt like a bit of a sewing theme today. So I'm going to put those in here. I'm going to close that up and just put that to the side and tell you what you need to do. Right, so the first thing I did was I've grabbed a piece of fabric here. This fabric is, let me see, just short of 6 inches. So it's just over 6, I would say 5 3/4 inches in width, and that equates to 15 centimeters that way. And in this, the lengthwise, we're looking at 21 centimeters, and in inches, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a little bit, 8 1/4. All right. You might want to adjust the length of this according to the page that you have. So, you know, if you're using US letter, it's 8 1/2. That might be fine. But if you're using A4, this is what I'm doing. All right. So that should be fine. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to then just fold this piece in half. And because it's quite a thin fabric, I'm going to be folding this in half. So that's the first sort of step there. Now I'm going to put some stitching on this, and it was nice to use this gingham fabric because the little squares help me to cut it out, and also is going to help me with the sewing bit as well. Now I've got my fabric tack here, and very lightly I just want to put little spots of this glue, so very thinly, because as I said, the fabric is thin. I'm just wanting to keep it together. So instead of using pins, I am just going to be doing this. It's just a little bit of glue, and then I'm just going to join up the edges nicely together. So I want to just do that, and that's the first step. So there we've got the halfway mark here, and we've got those two joined together now, which is just when I was making this, it was the way to go. Now, what I like about this fabric is I can start pulling off bits here. I want a little bit of a frayed edge, and that will come as you're working with it. So just keep pulling off those threads. If you're wanting to, you could go and stitch around this with a sewing machine, but I'm not doing that today. I'm wanting to have a little bit of a handmade decorative finish. So what I did was I decided to use embroidery thread. So I've got a couple of embroidery threads I've collected over quite a few months, and I've wound them onto bobbins here. So this little box comes from Amazon, and in here I've just wound the various embroidery threads that I use. Not all the colors are in here, but these are the colors I've been using, and I've just put them in here. All right, so I took some of the pale pink, and I used some of this sort of lovely mauve color, lilac color, and I just made 2 rows of straight stitching. All right, so I started off and I've threaded 2 needles here, so we'll just put this to the side as well. I've threaded my wrong one. Got too many needles threaded here. I've threaded a long piece of embroidery thread. I've drawn, it comes in 6 strands, as you know. I've drawn 3 of these little strands and threaded it through my needle because that was enough. And then all you need to do is make a bit of a knot. Well, I do. I make a knot at the end of my bit like that. All right, and now I want to, because I've got these little blocks, it does make it easy. I want to just do a little running stitch, and I'll just show you a bit. I have got one ready already. The first thing I did was I just wanted to get this going, and I sort of started a little way down, just because I don't want to see the running stitch. So I've just gone into the seam there, and I'm just pulling that knot through. You don't have to do this. You can make the knot on the underside, that's fine, but it's just for neatness. Then I'm just doing, you know, going along the edge of my little checks, and in one, up one on the line. So it's really easy. I actually remember doing this as my first sewing project when I was just 7 years old at school. We had to make a tray cloth, and I used gingham. I chose the royal blue and white, and we had to do all our little embroidery stitches all over the 2 ends of the tray cloth and sew together with the edges. That was my first project, and that's exactly what I was thinking about when I was doing this earlier, that I was 7 years old doing the various things, and this is the first stitch you learned. And because it's on the gingham, it helps you to space it really easy, especially when you're 7. All right, so that's what I did with this. I'm not going to do the whole thing, as I said. You're just going to do that, and then just hold the end gently, and just smooth that out like that. So there you can see, hopefully, that you've just got your little running stitch going along there. All right, now you would just do that right round. Now I did it with the pink, and then I did it with the lavender. So the lavender color went next to it over there. You can do it with whatever you've got. That's what I've used on mine. So I'm going to just put that to the side, and then you can see I've just done it with the pink on all sides. See, I've frayed quite a bit off there on that one, and I've done it with the lavender. It just gives it a little bit of a handmade feeling, and because we're looking at vintage and this lovely homespun feel, I couldn't resist a little bit of gingham. If you've got any kind of fabric at all, even old clothes that you aren't wearing anymore, that are going to end up, you know, just being stuck somewhere and nobody's going to look at it because it's damaged or it doesn't fit anybody, you know, go and grab those sorts of things as well. As I like to tell you, use what you have, even if it's a napkin and it's stained. which I've got my stain napkin here. I did look at using that. Whatever you have, guys, just go and grab it and use it. All right, so you don't need a big piece of fabric. You might get away with one layer if it's not, if it is thick enough. So don't be afraid to do that. Right, so we've got that bit done. I like this, and I was, yeah, I think that's. Now you got your folded edge and your rough edge, and I'm probably going to leave it just like that. Just decide which way you want to have it. The very next step that we want to do is we want to stick on our little lacy bit. So with me, I just took cut out one of these from my doily. As I said, it had a big hole in it, so nobody was going to use this. So I've cut out the little flower circle bits to use. And then it's going to go slightly over each side, which is absolutely fine. And then all I did was I got a little thing here with antique buttons. These are those ones made from oyster shell. And I love using these. I wanted to add the buttons onto each one of these little petals here and stick those on like that. And I had 6. I think it was 6. Yeah, like that. All right, so I wanted those like that just to give it a bit of interest, and I wanted to stitch those on as well. So I'm just going to move this one over here and show you. I have got one in progress, so you can see I've I've stitched on carefully here these little buttons, and I was just going to show you how I do one of them. So I've got the little petal there. Hold your button at the top here. I'm just going to hold it with my thumb. Take your thread and go from the top, pull it through, leave a fair amount of thread. I'm going to just tuck that under my nail a little bit, just so that it gives me some to make a knot with. Oops. So grip that there, and then we're going to take the needle, come from the back and go through the other side and pull it slightly, and then you've got the other thread underneath your nail, go through the top again, then from the back, and I'm just going to do it one more time. And then you want to end with it coming through the front again. So there we go, that's sewn on properly, good and proper. Then you're just going to take the little thread that's loose here that you started with, and the one that's attached to your needle, and we're going to make a little knot here. So just wrap it around your finger, put the needle through and tie a little knot there. I'm going to just do it twice. All right, and then just take my scissors. I go to the end of the button's length on each side, so it gives me consistency, but that's up to you. And there you've got your little buttons sewn on. So we've got our 6 little buttons sewn on there like that. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Right, so this is now ready to go on the top here, and I want to just get it so that the buttons are we'll arrange that properly in a minute. All right, so it's going to be about there. Right, having done that, we've got our little bit lining up like that. What I want to do now is put some pieces of lace on. So I have got 2 of these scrappy bits of lace. These come from Plum Boutique. I'm going to put one at the bottom here and one at the top here. Now you could have run the lace right the way through, but I just thought maybe I would like to save a piece, and so I cut it into 2 separate bits. But if you've got plenty of lace and you want to run it in one swoop underneath this, do so, Right, so what I want to do is I want the pointy bits, the scallop bits pointing left, so I'm going to just put some glue over this. Make sure you get it. I'm using the fabric glue. Use what you would normally use to stick fabric down. and I want to get it sort of in this position here. So I'm using these little lines just to get it straight. So there we go, I've got that bit over, and then I want to do the same here. So now we're looking on this line and the same applies, so just get that glued nicely. It's tricky to try and glue lace, but just be patient. All right, and then we want to run that on the same line. So I'm going to make it slightly longer so I can just trim it a little bit. There we go. And I want to just trim that bit to be a bit neater. There we go. And on this side as well. Okay. And now we can go and stick this bit down. So I'm going to do it in sections. I'm going to start with the top bit, which is what I did before. And just going to put some glue just on that end there, because I don't want these to unravel. Not that they will once I've glued them down, but you never know. So I'm just being careful about that. All right, and now once I've got all the glue on here, I can fold that back like this, and then just stick that down. Now just be mindful that you don't really want it to go over the bit that's not going to stick onto your middle bit here. And then we want to just start from the base bit. That one does go on, so I'll make sure that I get that nicely glued down. Here we go, and then we just work around like that. So we did this one, I think, and then okay, and then this one only goes up to this point here, like that. Oops, lots of mess of glue all over the place, but that's okay. Have a fun time peeling that off. Right, so we've got all of that happening. We've got a little bit over here. Did that? Yeah, I did glue it. Okay, so we've got everything glued down. Just do this in sections. I think it's the safest way. And I'm not worried about these bits here. They will be covered in a moment. That's why I haven't put buttons on all the bits. The next little bit that I'm going to do is I've got a little circle. This is of wallpaper. And it's pink, but you could use the pink polka dot paper. That would work just as well. So I've just cut out a circle. I think it's 2.5 inches, this one is, just under. And I'm going to just put some glue on it. Again, I'm using the fabric tack because it's going to stick onto the fabric, this bit here. And then I'm going to just get that up to this point over there, so like that. And then we're going to just take one of these little circles that I've cut out from my add-on kit, with the little spoons, and we're going to just stick that on as well. So I wanted to get it with the blank piece there because I'm going to stick a butterfly on it, so just getting that piece sort of the right angle there. Then I've just taken one of my pastel butterflies. This is the biggest one, I think, on that sheet, and I do like it because that sheet's got all the sizes that you could possibly want, and I have used all the sizes. And I'm just going to stick this like that onto that bit over there. It's coming along really nicely. This is so much easier than you realize. Okay, then I've just got a little scrappy bit of pink. This is from my Liberty of London. It was just a scrappy bit I had open, and I've just torn off the edges there. And I'm going to just lie this way, like that, a little bit higher, like that, I think. And I'm going to get that down. Now this is also very, very thin, so you want to not put too much. This glue is quite mucky at the moment. It's full of, and my wet wipes aren't in the close vicinity. Too bad, we'll just have to deal with it. So there we go, we've got that stuck down. Oh, here's one here. I've got some right, that's better. And then I've just got one of these little labels, the cake label, that's also in that just below these circles on that same page in the add-on kit, and I just want to stick that on as well. So just wanted to bring it slightly lower, like that. And then all we need to do is stick on a little flower there. So, you know, from the spring foliage die, I've been loving these little flowers. So I've just put another one together here, and we are going to just use a finer nozzle here. And this one I've just washed, so just to, you know, de-glue, and it gets a bit bunged up after a lot of use. So I just want to put this there like that, pink one, and then using the lacy paper, I've made a cream one. That same background paper as what we're sticking in the journal, and just sort of getting it at a different angle there. So there we go. And then the last little thing to do is just to grab one of these little pearls, and I'll just use some of this here. Tiny little spot, and then it's just a case of I find it easier just to use a needle or something like that, and then I can just drop that on just there like that. Okay, and there we have our little belly band, and that again is ready to go into our book. So let's just grab this. We've got two of them now, and they look exactly the same. Look at that. Yeah. And then to fix this down, I would suggest using your fabric glue. So for me, I'm going to just get some of this, and I'm going to run it on the top here. Like this. Get it close to the edge as well. Right. And then we want to just make sure that we've got it where we want it. And I think it's like this. So let's get that down like that, and then just moving this past the edge of those pages so that it's not going to stick the pages underneath, and then do the same on the bottom here. All right, and then just ensure that you've got it pretty straight. Put that down at the bottom there like that. All right, and I'll put that in my other one. Okay. All right, so there we have. I'm going to just put this here for the moment because I've got a bit of glue all over the place, and I need to clean this board. All right, so there we have it, everyone. I was thinking of putting a little flower here, but I'll get to that another time. That's our little belly band for today. It's using all those scrappy little bits, and then you can just tuck in your little envelope there, and your little recipe card. Obviously they need to go further in, you know, like that. And there we have it. That's a little project for today. So I hope that you've enjoyed how that one has come out. I thoroughly like that with all those little bits that I've had, and I've found a little excuse to sew. You know, I think it's come together really well. So go and give it a go, everybody. I hope that you enjoy that. Go and do a little bit of slow stitching, run these running stitches, and create something really pretty. This would look great with pockets as well. So we might do a pocket in the other signature with some fabric and some running stitches as well. All right, everyone, have a wonderful weekend. I hope you find lots of time to craft and just enjoy some time for yourself on your own, just to unwind and recharge your batteries. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. We'll have another quick little project to do. So enjoy yourselves, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.